Hello, fellow educators. My name is Anna File, and I'm here today to introduce the effective evidence-based practice, self-management. As you are all aware, our schools today face the challenge of providing appropriate services to a diverse student population diagnosed with ASD. Unfortunately, educators like us and service providers are often faced with confusing and conflicting information about the many treatments and interventions available for autism. Is self-management right for all students? Although there is no one-size-fits-all or single effective intervention, evidence-based strategies such as self-management have shown considerable promise in addressing the attention, concentration difficulties, and poor behavioral regulation of students with ASD. These strategies involve teaching individuals with ASD to evaluate and record the occurrence or non-occurrence of a target behavior and secure reinforcement. The objective is to be aware of and regulate their own behavior so they will require little or no assistance from others. Self-management meets the evidence-based practice criteria set by NPDC with 10 single-case design studies. The practice has been effective with learners in preschool from 3 to 5 years to high school learners from 15 to 22 years. With these interventions, learners with ASD are taught to discriminate between appropriate and inappropriate behaviors, accurately monitor and record their own behaviors, and reward themselves for behaving appropriately. Self-management strategies have been implemented successfully for students with a wide range of academic and behavioral challenges. This group of procedures typically involve the components of self-observation and self-recording, which together comprise the self-monitoring. Students are instructed to observe specific aspects of their own behavior and provide an objective recording of these observations. The procedure involves providing a cue or prompt to the student and having he or she determine whether or not they engaged in a specific behavior at the moment the cue was supplied. The activity of focusing attention on one's own behavior and self-recording these observations can have a positive reactive effect on the behavior being monitored. And that is so exciting. Self-management can have a positive effect, so we must all utilize it in our classroom. I really do believe it can benefit all students. So with your knowledge of self-management, I'm pretty sure most of you have implemented it before in your classrooms. Is this statement true or false? There is no need to interview parents or other team members before implementing the EBT self-management system. Let's see. I'll give you guys a minute. Whew. All of you picked false, and that's a good thing. The answer is false. Remember, a functional behavior assessment is always needed when using self-management. Why? Because identifying the function of a behavior helps us to prevent problem behavior. It teaches our students better ways to have their needs met and keeps them in control of their own behavior. It also ensures consistency across all environments. Because as we know, behavior is communication, and it usually has to do with access to attention, escape, access to a tangible, or sensory stimulation. And while a functional behavior assessment is needed to determine a function of an interfering behavior, prompting and reinforcement are the two practices frequently used to teach the learner how to self-record behavior in the target setting. So these are the 4 important steps to learn the self-management evidence-based practice. 1, operationally define the target behavior. 2, identify functional reinforcers. 3, design or choose a self-management I'm blocking it, a self-management method or device. 4, teach the individual to use the self-management device. Practicing these steps will teach self-management independence to our students. Okay, there are many benefits of self-management. So the benefits are they allow our students to participate with their peers, and by learning self-management techniques, students have an opportunity to participate in the design and implementation of their own behavior management programs rather than traditional top-down external contingency approaches. They also, it allows students to acquire a pivotal skill that facilitates generalization of adaptive behavior, supports autonomy, and has the potential to produce long-lasting behavioral improvements across a range of contexts. Students also become more independent, self-reliant, and responsible for their own behavior and less dependent on external controls and continuous supervision. So by learning self-management techniques, students really gain a lot of agency and autonomy for themselves, which is huge, especially for working with our population of students with ASD. This actually helps promote self-determination, which, as we all know, in the long run, creates a happy life. Independence equals a happy life. Okay, one of the prominent features of more capable students with ASD is an absence of or poorly developed set of self-management skills. This includes difficulty directing, controlling, inhibiting, or maintaining and generalizing behaviors required for adjustment across home and school settings. So providing a way for them to monitor their behaviors across all settings will definitely set them up for success in life. So that's why I say I believe it is not a one-size-fits-all, but it will benefit all students in some way or another if implemented appropriately and a functional behavior assessment is performed. That's a has to be. You have to have a functional behavior assessment first. If not, you're not going to really know what behavior you're monitoring or they're monitoring. Okay, this is another fun little interactive slide here, fellow educators. And can you please draw or type 2 ways self-management can help students? I'll give you a minute. Oh, we've got some very creative people in the crowd tonight. Great job. I love that. Take ownership of their own behaviors and learn and grow from them. Very good. That's great. Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, so first I'm going to go over the steps of implementing a self-management program in your classroom for students. The plan is you would conduct a functional behavior assessment, identify reinforcers, develop a date collection system, determine initial criterion, select self-monitoring recording and cueing devices, teach learner to demonstrate correct behavior, teach learner to use self-recording system. Okay? Next, use. You will provide learner with cues to begin using self-management system. You'll teach learner how to self-record behavior in the target setting. You'll also teach the learner to gain access to reinforcement when criterion is reached. And monitor. Conduct intermittent checks to determine if learner accurately self-records. Increase criterion session length and interval length. Determine next steps based on learner progress. So all of these are very important. This is the system and how you would implement it in your classroom or at home across all settings. So it begins with a functional behavior assessment, and eventually the learner will he or she will learn to demonstrate correct behavior by monitoring their behaviors, and it'll be, if you can figure out the what the reinforcers are. They have to be really high reinforcements in the beginning, and give those to them, and then you'll probably have to do it and monitor in the beginning, and then after a while the student will begin to monitor themselves and enjoy it and pick their own reinforcers. Always from the beginning, they always choose their own reinforcers. That's the only way it's going to work. You can't choose something they don't like and try and give that to them. It's not going to be worth it. So reinforcers are a big deal. Okay, let's reflect. What was your biggest takeaway from this presentation, and do you plan on implementing self-management strategies with your students? I can say as an educator that self-management is one of the most effective evidence-based practices I have used in my classroom setting. And students carry it home and across all settings. Parents are happy, students are happy, and teachers are happy. Okay. And I want to thank you for attending my webinar, and have a lovely afternoon.